edition of the Vintage Vinyl Vault. We made another little record purchase, hit some shops, found some good deals on some things, and bought about half a dozen albums. I'm going to run down through those with you and then give you some kind of information. I bought 3 albums from one particular group from a town that I once lived in, and seen some of these musicians out play a number of times over the years. So go through those for you. And actually, one of those groups is making a comeback, so they may be coming out with new material. So some of the state stuff dates back to the 80s, early 80s. And anyway, they're coming out with new material 2016, which is going to be pretty cool. So let's take a minute. Let's go through the records that we bought for the Vintage Vinyl Vault. All right. First one is the Blasters. Okay, it's a group I saw play at Farm Aid. It's a rockabilly group, has the Alvin brothers in it. One's a singer, one's a guitar player. They both play guitar, actually. So let's take a look at that. Name of the album is Nonfiction. Always been a fan of the Blasters. Didn't have this one, so picked it up. The next 3 are by the same group, and the name of that group is Champaign, named after the town in Illinois, Champaign, where they originated from. The first one had a monster hit for them called How About Us, so let's take a look at that one. Okay. Name of the LP is How About Us, all right? Members of the group were Polly Carmen, Rena Day, Dana Walden, Michael Reed, Rocky Moffett, and Howard Reeder. Some of those musicians, I know Polly Carmen, one of the guys that passed away. Polly's still alive. And then, of course, Rocky Moffett. There's a great documentary out on YouTube about their early days, Polly's early days playing in a band called Cold Kitchen, which had the great Carla Payton on vocals. They were a regional act based out of Champaign and Carbondale, opened for a number of big name people in the St. Louis area, like they opened for AC/DC, amazingly enough. But that documentary kind of talks about their early days, and then some of those people that left that ended up forming Champaign, and they had some success. Their 3 early albums all did well. So first one, How About Us, I just showed you. Next one is called Modern Heart. That was their second LP. Kind of making a mess over here. The third one is Woman of Flames. There's the 2 singers, Polly Carmen and Rena Day. So those are those 3 albums, and I'll talk a little bit more about Champaign here in just a minute when I get through showing you the other ones. Rick Springfield, Living in Oz. Okay, I think my daughter and wife picked that one out. And lastly, but not leastly, a K-She classic album. The band Rabbit with a W. So you could call it Wabbit if you wanted to, but it's Rabbit. Okay, classic rock album. I think they were based out of Canada, if I remember correctly. Looking forward to listening to that one. Okay, back to Champaign. I lived there for a number of years. I saw, Polly Carmen playing some different bands throughout the years in Champaign. Last that I remember, he was in a band called Tons of Fun, which is a big horn band that had a number of members. They drew big in the Champaign area and in the Midwest. But from what I've read is Champaign's going to be coming out with some new material 2016 and producing a new album. So let me kind of go through their history a little bit, and I'll just read a little bit. The septet who named themselves after the hometown of Champaign, Illinois, included Polly Carmen and Renee Jones. On the vocals, Michael Day and Dana Walden. On keyboards, Leon Reeder on guitar, Michael Reed on bass, and Rocky Moffat on percussion. The title track for the 1981 album How About Us was a hit single, reaching number 5 in the UK singles charts, and the US Billboard charts was number 12 on the Billboard Top Hot 100. Their second album, Modern Hearts, was released in '83, contained a top 10 hit, Try Again, also 23 in the Hot 100. Another follow-up, 1984's A Woman of Flames, included top 10 song, Off and On Love. The songs include Party People and Walkin'. So their first 3 LPs all garnered top 10 hits, which is just incredibly impressive. 1990 Champaign, including Carmen, reconvened to record the Champaign 4 album, was released the following year. It did herald a brief return to the U.S. R&B charts with a single, Trials of the Heart. Former band members Michael Day died of cancer in 2001. 2003, a Greatest Hits compilation album was released, including most of the group's hits, though several, most notably Try Again, were absent. By 2008, Polly Carmen, the original lead singer, continued to represent the group. The Karma album, released in 2008, includes original songs along with a remake of the Beatles' And I Love Her and Stevie Wonder track, I Love, I Love. And in 2010, Get Back to Love was released, including remastered How About Us. The title track, Get Back to Love, made reference to Champagne's top hits. The same year, the single Mercy was released, a remake of the Marvin Gaye hit Mercy Me. The single was to assist those affected in the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, so it's kind of some proceeds were donated for that cause. In November 2016, Carmen produced the Polly Carmen Show, a television pilot online show. In 2011, the single Share was released. In 2013, and CD album Love Kind was released. Now, that online television pilot or show, I watched a big part of that, and it's pretty neat because, it's, if you're an Illinois person, you're going to know some of these things. Some of his, early managers were Irving Azoff, who's a big time player in California now and manager, but really talks about some of their gigs, some of their history, talks about early bands he played in. When he was in the Cold Kitchen, he was one of the drummers that got auditioned to be their drummer. And another guy that got auditioned to be the drummer was Morris Day and the Time, who was related to the lead singer, Carla Payton, I believe. And, he went on to be part of the Prince Purple Rain movie and had his own successful career, so that's kind of neat. Says Polly Carmen and Champaign signed with Tony Manator's Plateau Music in Nashville in December 2015. A 2016 tour is in the works, as well as a new music from the group. And from watching that documentary, one of the things that Polly Carmen said was record companies had a tough time marketing them, or because they were a kind of a mixed race group. Things were changing in the music industry. That you had rap music coming about and those kind of things, but I think they struggled with how to pigeonhole them or put them. Everything has to be in a, categorized in this world today, unfortunately, but they were a mixed race group, and they appeared on Bandstand, they appeared on Soul Train, a number of their TV programs. I actually worked with a guy that said they were getting ready to tour Japan, and his band was asked by Polly Carmen to go with them and be their opening act in Japan, which I found kind of interesting. So I bought those just because of knowing a little bit of history about the band. Not that it's my favorite kind of music. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. I'm more of a classic rock guy, but, living in that community for so long and knowing some of the players made it a must purchase for me, and was lucky to find all 3 of those in the same place for just a couple bucks a piece. So purchased them. Now I own them and enjoy them. So that was our record haul, a little brief history about the band Champaign. You may find interesting, you may not find interesting, but I would advise you to go out and check out the YouTube videos on Champaign and that little show that Polly Carmen kind of developed. Um, it's interesting, just interesting bits in it. It's kind of neat. It's a neat history. If you know anything about the community of Champaign, you will appreciate these videos. Okay, that's it for the Vintage Vinyl Vault. We'll be playing some of these records soon, but just wanted to let you know about the new purchases we've made. All right, enjoy your Christmas. Good night.